In the mirror of reflection, we see the footprints of our past experiences, guiding us towards the destiny of our future endeavors. Master of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, about a year ago, I stood here and began my journey in the Persuasive Influence pathway. I stood in front of the very same club members, wearing the very same clothing and delivering my first speech. But the nature of the speech and the quality of the speaker were eons behind what I am doing. Today I want to reflect on this journey, a journey of crests and troughs, of tearful laughter, of learnings, of camaraderie. How many of you here have heard my icebreaker speech? Raise of hands. Thank you. To those of you who have heard, thank you for tolerating me. To those of you who haven't, you missed out. For that was a perfect example on how not to deliver a speech. Back then, I was literally all over the place. I walked more on the stage than I did throughout the day. The structure of my speech was amoeboid. For those of you who know, amoeba is a microorganism without any structure. And finally, I managed to get myself disqualified for overstepping the time limit. 6 minutes 32 seconds. I will never forget that day. It taught me the value of time in a very hard way. Throughout level 1, I focused on the most pivotal moments in my life. Ones that have shaped me to be the individual I am today. My second speech was about how a horse motivated me to score 4 out of 4 in a chess tournament. My next speech was about my mentor, Rohit Ramanan, teaching me the power of asking questions. And my level 4, or level 1 project 4, was about how I managed to turn around my IIT mentor from firing me to rehiring me by giving him what he wanted. Throughout this level, there was one major problem that kept reoccurring, or two for that matter: body language and eye contact. As Toastmaster Lakshmi Sagar, who was my evaluator, once said, hand gestures are not just body language, or body language cannot just be your hand gestures. That taught me a lot. My eye contact was all over the place. I would frequently stare there, right there, at that ceiling, just as how a teenager stares at the wall when his parents ask him pointed questions. I learned a lot during this period. It shaped me to overcome my most major flaws. I will share one such learning with you. After my level 1 project 4, Toastmaster Srinath, who was my mentor, remarked that my eye contact was not the best, and she suggested one thing: to go in a V, from left to right, front and back, and then repeat. This permanently cured me of the eye contact disease. In level 2, it was an opportunity for me to introspect about myself. I learned about the leadership style that I wanted to practice. I learned what a bad listener I was. And I also learned how my chess coach cum mentor, International Master Shivananda, had played a crucial role in my life. This phase was marked by exponential growth for 2 reasons. I gave speeches in different formats, that is, both online and offline, and I gave speeches in different clubs. When I was in front of an unfamiliar audience, the shivering, the hand clasping, the lack of eye contact came back again. When I was delivering an online speech, it was much harder for me to connect with my audience and look them in the eyes when I was delivering my message. This proved to be the catalyst for my exponential growth as a speaker. When I came to level 3, I had overcome most of my major flaws, but I still lacked that one X factor, that one quality that separates the truly special from the rest. My speeches were all one-dimensional. I was known for giving too much content. My speeches were mostly philosophical. I lacked humor and I lacked the ability to tell a compelling story. It was at this point that I requested distinguished Toastmaster Tejaswini to start mentoring me for all my future speeches. This was a masterstroke. It was not a smooth sailing from the very beginning. Level 3 project 1, ma'am asked me to completely rewrite the script. Her suggestions made me feel uncomfortable. Suddenly, I was not that great speaker everybody at home thought I was. I relished this challenge. I took her suggestions like a duck to water. It did not always go well. My level 3 project 2 elective was a humorous speech, and I talked about how I struggled to meditate. I wrote a great speech, and I thought I had done the best job I could, but I failed to make people laugh. That speech had everything. Excellent body language, a compelling storyline, references to, in my opinion, the prettiest actress in the world. I still failed. As Toastmaster Mahesh Hegde, my evaluator for the day, succinctly summarized, Toastmaster Tanmay, it was a great speech with only one problem. You had to make people laugh, and you did. These were the sort of lessons that I learned that helped me grow further. Level 4 came, that is where audience interaction began for me. My first project in level 4 was about presenting an idea and how we execute that idea and make it a full-fledged project. I came up with a very ambitious idea about having an inter-club debate contest. And the purpose of that project was for me to present that idea and then let the audience find holes and figure out what could possibly go wrong. Surprisingly, that day I was able to answer about any potential gaps that the audience raised. It went very well. I think that learning was slowly coming. The second project about managing a difficult audience, I spoke about what is today the hot topic, artificial intelligence. I'm a big believer in the power of AI to transform lives, but I completely understand if there are people here who also believe in its power to destroy. Knowing that it was a controversial topic, I chose it because I wanted to have an enlightening conversation. Even that day, the most difficult questions, I stood here with a smile and I was able to answer. That progression from somebody who could not stay still on stage to somebody who could answer the most difficult questions was something that was heartening for me. Level 5 came at last, high performance leadership, as my evaluator mentioned. I talked about a stretch initiative that I had taken up at my company. We developed a chatbot on our new warehouse management system, and it became a huge success. We leveraged the latest artificial intelligence technology, brought us a lot of fame, happiness, and it also saved the company a lot of time. The funny part about that project was, I delivered both the speeches on the very same day in 2 different clubs. That was quite the learning for me. 2 different sets of audiences, both online, and I had to talk about how I planned that project and how I delivered to the learning and the impact that it had on me. The last project in level 5, before my path completion, was a panel discussion. I had 4 of Uttishta's best leaders come up and talk about their leadership journey and how servant leadership can be applied to help foster new leaders. My greatest achievement that day was not just getting those 4 illustrious members, but also ensuring it ran on time. Toastmasters and guests, this journey is not complete without talking about my speech contest. Let us go back to July 23, my first attempt. Humorous speech contest. I was ill prepared. I wrote a speech, hashed up something with GPT-4. I came here without reading the rules and I failed miserably. I was not ready. I had just been about 3 to 4 months into Toastmasters. that experience taught me the value of preparing more carefully. So when the Tall Tales contest came this year, during the installation ceremony, I felt I was better prepared. I gave it my very best, and I felt that I finally carved out my identity in this pantheon of great speakers. For my first ISC, I wrote about the most painful moment in my life, how it touched me, how it transformed me for the better. It was raw, it was true, it was the best speech I had ever written, and yet I failed. It didn't get back. I was confused. Here I was, giving my best, and it was still not good enough. That day, in my the lowest point in my life, I was open to the greatest change. I distinctly remember Toastmaster Gopalakrishna Hegde's advice. Small sentences, clear message from beginning to end. I implemented that for my next ISC when I represented Walmart at the area level. Zero practice. I just went. The speech I delivered that day was the first time that I did it. Unburdened by lack of expectation, I got second place. It's a matter of pride for me that both my mentor, DTM Tejaswini, and I will be participating in the division level contest this year. To summarize on this journey, it's been one with its challenges. I've gone through some personal struggles. I fundamentally transformed myself after a spiritual experience. Yet what kept me going was Uttishta's unwavering support to make me a better speaker and a better human being. It would not be an overstatement to say that Uttishta has truly allowed me to rise and shine beyond what I thought was possible. Looking forward, I will definitely take up another pathway. But unlike my first icebreaker where I spoke about goals, I don't really have a specific goal now. I will just take life as it comes and experience it to the fullest. For it's in the reverie of our recollections that we find our poetry, our journey, written in the ink of our memories, showing us or displaying the sonnets that lead to our future. Thank you.